welcome back to Crown Chats. I am so honored to welcome today's guest. He is a diversely talented actor, director, producer, and stuntman. You may recognize him from his 20-plus films on our favorite cozy networks, including Let It Snow, Harvest Moon, B&B Merry, A Little Woman's Christmas, A Christmas Blessing, and Christmas Under the Northern Lights. You can currently catch him in the post-apocalyptic drama film and series Homestead, available from Angel Studios, and When Hope Calls from Great American Family and Pure Flix. Please join me in welcoming the remarkable Jesse Hutch.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, we got one person clapping. No, I'm kidding.
They're all clapping. It's all good. You have an incredibly diverse career with over 100 credits on your IMDb page and have appeared in some classic films and TV shows. And with Halloween around the corner, I have to give a special shout out to your epic death scene in Freddy vs. Jason. I think that was actually the first role I saw you in. But then you move on to Smallville and Heartland and even The Butterfly Effect. And then, again, 20 plus rom-coms and holiday films on our favorite networks. A lot of actors become selectively safe or maybe creatively comfortable in the roles that they play. But that is not the case for you, especially when we now see you in these drama and action-packed roles and even as the villain. How have you stayed consistently and successfully working in your career while also choosing roles that allow you to evolve and challenge yourself?
Straight to the deep. Wow. Okay. Well, thank you, first of all, just for that great introduction. I should have you, I should keep that so I can use it in future interviews or something like that. As far as just being diverse, man, that was something that was in my heart right from the get-go. Like 25 years ago when I first got into this business, I immediately recognized that it was, you get typecast 100%. And there's a time and a place for that in your career, especially when you're first starting. It's like beggars can't be choosers, but you're working hard. You're trying to, you're trying to gain experience. You're trying to book work. It's very competitive industry. It really comes down to how you look a lot more, especially I think in the beginning. I mean, that always plays, whether we like it or not. This is a visual medium, unlike music, right? You can kind of close your eyes, turn the lights off, and just be like, I like this music. I wonder what the musician's like. Yeah. And not the case in our industry. It's very driven by visual. So, man, early on, I was like immediately typecast as the bad guy, the all-American jock, the guy who breaks the girl's heart, the jerk. And that wasn't always bad. Because I actually found that in some cases the writing was actually better. There was a little bit more of a story arc. There's a reason that he's hurt. There's a reason that he's like so angry. There's a reason that he's trying to fight everybody. And so that was intriguing to me. And yet at the same time, I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to be this guy forever. Like, I want to do more action. I'd like to do more heartfelt stories. I'd love to laugh a little bit, do more comedy. How do I do more of that? And so I was constantly pushing back on casting. I was trying to not argue with my agents, but I was going, all right, look, I heard there's a comedy in town. Like, get me in on it. They're like, you have no comedy experience. I'm like, I don't care. I'll do something. What do you need me to do? I'll make my own demo reel. I'll put something together. I'll create a short, like whatever it took. And man, I'm still doing that. It's still, I like to say I'm still working on my 25-year overnight success story where people will all of a sudden go, wait, who's that guy? Where did he come from? And you're like, well, I've been around a while. But I think to pursue those things, you need to continually carve your own path. And that's a long-term solution. It's not short-term. So you also need to make short-term goals. I learned that one the hard way. If you don't have short-term goals and long-term goals, and you only have the long-term, which is what I did for a long time, you quickly get depressed, you get beat down, you feel discouraged because that goal is so far off in the distance. And if you don't achieve it, you feel like, oh, maybe I'm not moving. Maybe I'm not getting there. And the reality is you probably are. You're probably making steps in movement. But when your journey's, screen's too small, but when it's this long and you're making these baby steps, sometimes you don't notice the difference. So make sure you find short-term goals as well, stuff that you can celebrate, and that'll help you kind of get to those long-term goals. So I hope I didn't rabbit trail too much on that answer, but I think being diverse is a side effect of me discovering my own heart as I've gotten older, as I've matured as a person, as a man, getting married, having kids. Those things naturally push on you and challenge you to be better. It helps you recognize your own selfishness. It helps you recognize a lot of things that you got to work on. And so I think in doing that, my eyes were opened even further to like, whoa, I need to play more diverse roles. Like there's people out there who are feeling this and they're feeling that. Maybe they need more of this. And I get to do that as an artist, hopefully, play a role that someone sitting at home that I've never met somehow is touched by something that I've done that's not even close to them at all. Chances are I didn't film it in their town. Chances are I didn't run into them at the grocery store. And yet, hopefully there's a full circle moment where a performance that I've done somehow touches somebody's life and brings a smile to their face, or maybe they cry, or maybe they get mad at me. I want people to feel stuff in their heart, because I think that's what stories are all about.
You and your wife set such a beautiful example of marriage and partnership. And you guys are constantly gushing over each other on social media as if you're newlyweds, and yet you just celebrated your 16th wedding anniversary. So congratulations on that. What would you say are the keys to a successful marriage and to prioritizing each other and your family, especially with an unpredictable and sometimes chaotic work schedule?
Well, for us, I think our faith is an absolute must. It's a base. It's a key. You need your relationship with God to be individual first before you can do it together, I think. And so, although it's very closely knit, but you can't sort of worship or serve one above God. It's like God has to come first, and then I believe your marriage and your spouse has to come second, and then from there trickles everything else. And so always be willing to give grace, always be willing to take time, and communication is a big one. So I think communication, a lot can either be lost or gained through communication, and that changes as you get older too. It changes as you're in a relationship longer. Like when you figure one thing out, it'll work for a while, and then both of you grow, but you change. Your kids are getting older, life is changing, things happen and come at you, and you need to grow and adapt with that. So it's not just like this easy equation that you're like, oh, 1 + 1 is 2. We got to figure it out. Great. Next lesson. No, it'll come back around and it'll challenge you, and it'll try to, mess with you. You definitely need to build trust with one another. I mean, in our industry, we've had to learn that, especially early on when we were first married. Kind of, there was a lot more of like, even the romantic comedies that I do, I have to kiss someone, right? And there has to be a built-in trust. I mean, for me personally, I've never pursued roles that have gone beyond that. Like I've always, just because of my look and my experience and the way that I am, I tend to go out for leading man roles. And part of that is there's going to be some type of romance, or there's going to be a love interest. And one thing I knew early on, even before I met Lorelai, was I never wanted to be pursuing roles that were just gratuitous or mindless, sex scenes, or just stuff like that didn't appeal to me, and it still doesn't. And so, but even early on, it was like, I'm doing these rom-coms, and it was like, that's all anybody ever wanted to talk about with my wife. It was like, I can't believe that, like, you just let him kiss another woman. Like, how do you, and not like they were trying to hurt her, but it ended up hurting her. It was like, because that's all people thought about. For some reason, it would be the only part of the movie that stuck out to them. You know what I mean? And so her and I had to grow together, because I'm like, well, hey, how do you feel about that? All right, let's get this all out on the table. And there was a time when I almost walked away from this industry, because I was like, look, if and it's not like her fault. It wasn't all on her. It was like, I want to do this together. And if we can't find a way to make this work together, then I have to do something else, or I need to pursue a different type of role. And so, I don't know, God's been faithful in that. And but it's hard. Like, you need to push back on people. You gotta kick and scream sometimes and stand for what you believe in, because other people will think, well, like, why? I mean, I remember I was on set one time and they were like, oh, hey, did you bring your wedding ring? And I was like, what does that have to do with the role? And they're like, well, we kind of forgot. We don't have a prop ring and your character's married. And I was like, yeah, I understand. And they're like, can you wear yours? And I was like, no. And they kind of got mad at me. And I was like, look, I kind of have this personal rule that I don't wear my own wedding ring on screen, because that's not me. I'm not playing myself. I'm not portraying my marriage here. This is a character who's married to someone completely different, who's not me. And I know that some people can't wrap their head around it, but that's one of my boundaries. Is like, okay, I don't wear my wedding ring on screen. If you want me to be married, that's great. I would love to represent marriage the best way I can, but yet you go get your own wedding ring. Like, it's not mine. So same with these kissing scenes, right? You need to establish a separation. And for me, oh man, I've had a lot of these people I've worked with are good friends of mine, or became good friends, or my wife is really good friends with them now. And we have these discussions, and they'll be like, what's it like? And I remember one time I was in an interview, I think, and I said something to the effect like, oh man, honestly, like, these kissing scenes for me generally come down, it feels like you're kissing like a ceramic toilet. And I was like, I didn't mean to say that like the person was like a toilet, or that, but it ended up just being, my wife was like, oh my goodness, what did you just say? Like, did you just call a friend of ours? I was like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm like trying to express this separation of my actual heart and soul from my job. Like there is a disconnect there. And although everybody watches the screen and they see this box and it looks all perfect and the Christmas lights are just magical, it's pretty far from magic. It's not even close. And so, yeah, you need to establish boundaries, and this is ongoing. You always have to update the conversation, because projects change, things come at you that you never expected. Like, I got asked would I be okay with making out with a horse? And I was like, I thought they were kidding. I'm like, I laugh in the audition room, and then they're like dead serious. I'm like, oh yeah, oh, you're serious? Like, this is really in the movie? And they're like, yeah, we think you'd be. It's like, it's a comedic role and it's funny, but then like, yeah, like, it'll be a mix of like a real horse and a fake horse. And I'm like, and in my brain, I'm thinking, what? Like, I don't care if it's fake or real. Like, no. And but I had to handle it like, business, and be like, you know what, I'd actually really prefer to just do the role that I auditioned for. I think it's a good fit for me. But you just, I just share that story because you never know what's coming at you.
That would be a unique skill to add to your resume of like the things I can do. But yeah, that's odd. But no, I think that's a very respectful and understandable boundary of like, this is the character versus this is myself. And that's, I think that's a pretty small thing to ask for on a set. But also in terms of kissing scenes, aren't there always like, 50 other people standing around watching? Like, it's not romantic. It's very choreographed. And I think people kind of forget that too. But you guys just, portray it so well. So it's okay.
Well, just what's important though is that your spouse's heart is considered and protected and thought of. And so that takes time, right? I mean, my wife and I are in a different place now in our marriage. We, she's had time, I've had time. We see how I operate, especially I bring them with me, like a lot of the times. And also been just blessed to get work now that doesn't go down that road, right? It's like, and I've had great opportunities come up, like auditions that come at me and things that are, man, these are really good shows. Like, I actually think they're written really well. The people that make them are amazing. They're telling great stories. And unfortunately, I'll get an audition or a read where it's just, oh man, it's like just full of nudity and sex scenes. It's like, oh, can I get like the other guy? It's like, but nope, that's okay. I think you just got to stand your ground, keep on going.
Yeah, this is where you tell us you were supposed to be Rip in Yellowstone or something like that. But And that wraps up part 1 with Jesse Hutch here on Crown Chats. Be sure to tune in for part 2, where we talk about all of his fitness and training requirements for himself personally, but also for his action-packed current roles. And we discuss what exciting new projects, including a new Christmas movie, he has coming soon. And if you love what you're seeing, please be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, and of course, follow me, Haley, at Crown the Halls on Instagram. And don't forget about our sweet merch with Dressing Festive. You can find that linked here on the episode, as well as in my Instagram bio. So until next time, wear your crown. Your crown may tilt, may it never fall, but you are beautiful and you are strong.